Okay, I do believe we're live now. So thank you everyone for joining. Thanks very much for joining for the Italian Cuisine Week event, this session from Japan. So my name is Chris Kraus, the Director of Future Foods Operations here in Japan. And today we're honored to be joined by some esteemed and diverse panelists for this discussion, as well as the Embassy of Italy in Japan. And we're very excited to have the Ambassador of Italy in Japan, Gianluigi Benedetti, joining us as well. He'll provide some introductory remarks here in just a minute. So just for a bit more background and context on this panel discussion. So Future Food Institute is collaborating with Italian embassies and partners all across the globe, and I believe 4 different continents for this series on Italian Cuisine Week in support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Italy. So today, for the Japan session, we'll mostly be focusing on Mediterranean and Okinawan diet and lifestyles, and diving into a few other details kind of related to that. So without further ado, I'll now pass it over to Mr. Gianluigi Benedetti for a few introductory remarks.
Thank you very much. Dear participants, it is a pleasure for me to open this panel focused on the connections between the Mediterranean diet and the Okinawa diet, organized on the occasion of the 6th edition of the Week of the Italian Cuisine in Japan. I wish to thank all who contributed to the organization of this webinar, but in particular, the Future Food Institute and the Municipality of Pollica, that every year supports this important initiative of the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation by promoting a rich calendar of events to be held during the week. I am very glad that also this year, they are one of our partners. Every edition of the Italian Cuisine Week is focused on a different theme. This year, the week is dedicated to food sustainability. Recently, food production sustainability and food waste have become topics of increasing interest in the international agenda, since they pose great challenges to all of us. In particular, Italy, with its extraordinary food culture and its worldwide known Mediterranean diet, has a primary responsibility on this front. The Mediterranean diet is much more than a food model. It represents a sustainable lifestyle based on skills, knowledge, and values generated by local tradition and wisdom. Italy is convinced that there is no universal diet, but that local communities develop their specific response in terms of nutrition, food availability, and creativity. This is the case for Cilento, a very special area in the south of Italy and homeland of the Mediterranean diet, but also Okinawa, the island of the Ryukyu archipelago in the south of Japan, whose millenarian diet has made the island historically known for the longevity of its inhabitants. These 2 regions represent extraordinary example of food sustainability and healthy diets that can be taken as model for the world. I'm therefore very grateful to the Future Food Institute and to all panelists to address this interesting parallelism between those 2 lifestyles and diets, as well as for the enthusiasm in supporting and promoting the Italian cuisine and the Mediterranean diet. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you very much. That's a great kickoff and a great introduction to a lot of what we'll be discussing today. So thanks again, Mr. Benedetti. And now I just wanted to transition over and get a brief, maybe 1-minute introduction from each of our panelists before we get into some of the discussion topics. So maybe if we could start with Mayor Pisani. Do you mind? Yeah, thank you. And sorry, just if you guys could just share a bit about your background, some of the key focus areas you're working on in terms of food. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. First of all, I want to say thank you to Embassy of Italy and the ambassador for organize this meeting. I want to say thank you because for us it's very important to discuss about Mediterranean diet, Italian cuisine, but is also important to have also a way to meet other culture and other model of diet, for example, Okinawa diet or other. Pollica and Cilento is in the south of Italy, and a very important area, a big protected area in the Europe, the largest protected area in the Europe, and Pollica is the most important place for Mediterranean diet. But also around Pollica, there are many experience, many resources that in the past help Mediterranean diet to as recognized as a cultural heritage for UNESCO.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we got from the Mediterranean, we'll go to Okinawa with Mr. Craig Wilcox. Sorry, you are muted currently.
How's that?
All good now. Yep. Thanks.
Okay, so can you see my face?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I thank the Future Food Institute and the Italian Embassy, and I'm very happy to be here remotely from Okinawa. I would love to be there in person, but we'll have to wait till the pandemic is under control. I've been studying the traditional Okinawa diet, as well as genetic and lifestyle factors associated with healthy aging and longevity for, well, almost 3 decades. And I've been working mostly in Okinawa and Hawaii for the past couple of decades. I'm Canadian. I came out of the University of Toronto, and I have a number of research projects, joint research projects between Okinawa and Hawaii, and we're looking at both genetic and lifestyle factors, including dietary factors and cultural factors associated with healthy aging. We're funded mainly by the National Institute on Aging, as well as the Japan Society for Promotional Sciences. And I am co-principal investigator of the Okinawa Centenarian study. And I've been to Italy many times, including Salerno. I'm looking forward to working with everybody on future projects in Japan and Italy. And I thank you very much for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, Craig. And so we'll go back to Italy now with a quick introduction from Elisabetta Moro.
Yes. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm very glad to be here with all of you in order to discuss about the Mediterranean diet. I would like to thank the Ambassador Benedetti and the Future Food Institute for this invitation. I'm an anthropologist, a cultural anthropologist. I'm not an expert of nutrition in a strict sense of the word, but in a cultural sense of it. So that means that I study behaviors, beliefs, religions, the way we think food is all about. So that's my main topic. And since 2010, I'm studying the Mediterranean diet in a specific way, and especially the way it has been found out, really found out from history by two American scientists. I'm also the co-director of a research center in the University of Naples, Suor Orsola Benincasa. The name of this center is Medit Research. And I'm also the co-director of the virtual museum of the Mediterranean diet. It's a virtual museum that is just online. It's open source. It's free. It's green. It's really sustainable. And it's a place in which we are including many witnesses and interviews to people who have a special relationship with diet. And we also have a guest from Japan, a researcher, and later I will tell you who she is. And we are trying somehow to create a community of ideas because cultural heritage, like the Mediterranean diet, has to do with lives, with people, and with the so-called living history. So that's what I'm trying to do with my team. Thank you to all of you.
Okay, thanks very much. And now back to Japan, this time to Tokyo for an intro from Chef Luca Fantini.
Hi, everybody. This is Luca Fantini from Tokyo. It's a big pleasure to be here. And nice to meet you, Ambassador. Welcome to Japan. I think so. It's very interesting to be here with you to share some ideas, share some knowledge. I can say I'm a chef, I'm a cook, and I work with the material because I think I'm more like an artisan can transform my ingredient to emotion to the guest and transforming ingredient to some healthy point to the customer when they come here to the restaurant. So I'm very glad to be here today and ready to share some knowledge, some idea with all of you.
Okay, thanks very much. We're excited to have you as well, Chef Fantine, for your unique perspective from the food service approach as well. So basically before, so thank you guys for the intros. So we'll get to a variety of topics in the next 40 to 45 minutes, but why don't we start with a good overview of Mediterranean and Okinawan diets themselves, from the perspectives of Elisabetta and Craig, who do spend a good amount of time in this field. So first, maybe let's go to Elisabetta to tell us a little more about Mediterranean diet with a few slides as well. And then we'll go to Craig, and then we'll kind of carry on with that as our foundation.
Okay, I share my screen. I hope you see it perfectly.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, let's see if I can go to the next slide or not, because I'm using a PDF. Okay, so our history starts from these two people. It's Ansel Keys and Margaret Honey, his wife. He was a physiologist of the University of Minnesota, and she was a chemist and biologist of the Mayo Foundation. Here you see them very old in age. He's quite a centenary, almost a centenary, and she's very close to it. So don't think that the Mediterranean diet makes you old, gives you a chance to get old in a very good situation. But the history starts in 1951 in the Food and Agriculture Organization, especially in Rome, where there is the place of this huge organization. And in 1951, there was a congress in which Ansel Keys was invited. And in that occasion, he explained that in his researches in the US, he was noticing a huge problem that was the increasing number of cardiovascular diseases. And when he said that to the scientists of all Europe, nobody really bothered him. And in his diaries, I read very accurately, he was really upset because he thought nobody's understanding that we have a new disease to fight against. And so he started to talk with a doctor He was the Minister of Health of Italy. And this doctor, who was a physiologist of the University of Naples, explained him that in Naples, they had no heart attacks at all. You know, Naples is a place in which the song, love, emotions are very common in culture, but diseases were not in place. So with this really small information, he thought it was necessary to make a research. And he went to Italy. He came back to Italy after a period in Great Britain with his wife. Here I am showing you the scenes of a very famous movie made by Roberto Rossellini in 1952, Journey to Italy, because this movie really shows the same Naples that the two American scientists met. So if you want to have an idea of the period in which all this research started, you just have to watch this movie. So they arrive in Naples and they start to make a research, a first part of a research that now is very well known with the name of 7 countries study. And as you see, they started in 51, but the research, the main research started officially in 58, because before they had to check how to study the problem of the heart attacks and the reason why in Italy they were not present. So as you see, from 1958 to 2008, they have been studying 12,000 men. At that time, women didn't have heart attacks, especially in 58. So they were just studying men, as very often it happens in medicine. And they were aged from 39 to 59. And they were distributed in 7 different countries: Italy, Greece, Yugoslavia, Japan, Netherlands, Finland, and USA. And here I decided to put 2 different colors because there is a barrier between these 2 groups, because Italy, Greece, Yugoslavia, and Japan too showed a very good level of health. And somehow they realized that there was a dietary pattern in these 4 nations, which was very good for health. While on the other side, on the opposite, in Netherlands, Finland, and USA, it was quite clear that people had very many problems with heart attacks. And as you can see, Japan is not a Mediterranean diet, a Mediterranean country, sorry, but it had a very good, healthy diet and lifestyle. What was the problem? The problem was that it was not possible to teach Europeans and US people to eat in a Japanese way, because nobody knew the cuisine, the Japanese cuisine at that time. So they decided to focus on Italy, Greece, Yugoslavia, Spain, and all the Mediterranean area, because that kind of lifestyle was much more spread everywhere. And especially Italian Americans were very present in US and Greeks also. So they could teach to the Americans how to have a healthy diet, simply showing their way of eating and cooking. All the results of this research were published for the wide public in Time in January 13, 1961. And when this article came out, lots of people were really not sure that the result was correct. Because you can imagine, we are in 1961, the economy was really changing, and the population of the Western countries was really in a food transition. People were starting to eat much more meat, especially red meat, lots of food that was much richer in fats. So it was hard to tell to a population which was going to a revolution, a food revolution, that they had to go back to a more traditional food pattern. The keys the two of them decided to spend their retiring time in Pollica, the village, the city of Mayor Pisani, that is more or less here. Here it is, especially in this place close to the coast, Pioppi. And here they built a house that became a research center. Here is the house, here is the sea. And the two of them really hosted many scientists coming from all over the world. And they were really pioneers of the studies and also of the revolution that the Mediterranean diet created in the nutritional science. Especially they published some large public books. And the most important one is this one, 1975, because in this book, for the first time, we have the expression Mediterranean diet. What does that mean? That in the past, of course, in the first centuries of our era, in the Mediterranean area, people used to eat Mediterranean food and have a Mediterranean lifestyle. But nobody had the idea of creating a name in order to point it out. So in this book, they start to use Mediterranean diet, this expression that is still a little bit new for all of us. And very often when I ask the people I research with, what do you mean for the term Mediterranean diet? Sometimes they don't really know what to tell me because it's a new word also for us, for Italians especially. But as you see in this book, there is the Mediterranean way. Way is a little bit canceled, but it's present. And that means that food is never just a diet. It's never just a question of calories, proteins, and all the rest, but it has to do with a lifestyle. And this is the reason why we are here with not just with a pyramid, which maybe we can go through a bit later, but we are here also with a cultural heritage recognized by UNESCO because they recognized a lifestyle. And as a matter of fact, in the ancient Greek, diet was mentioned with the name dieta, and that meant lifestyle. Dieta meant also house, the place in which we live. And Greeks in the ancient language used to say, if you change your life, you change your diet. So we are really talking about something that is much more important. Here we have the most important things, lots of fruit and vegetables and legumes, pulses, beans, peas, lentils, bread, pasta, potatoes, especially brown wheat. And here we have the olive oil that is the center of the pyramid, which is much more than a fat. Then we have, of course, blue fish and all the rest. You can see that we usually should consume 2 or 3 times a week, while the rest here, down here, is every day, 2 or 3 times a week. Then chicken, eggs, mozzarella, milk, and cheese 2 times a week, red meat and sausages and prosciutto, for example, once a week, and cakes, we should theoretically eat them once a week. But of course, if you make lots of fitness, if you really burn lots of calories, you can also eat a little bit of sweets. And this is the main information I wanted to tell you, and maybe later we can point out something else. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. That's great. And so if we can, for a quick overview of Okinawan diet and lifestyle, if we can go to you, Craig, if you don't mind sharing screen. Sorry, you're on mute.
Okay, let's see now. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm surprising myself. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Moro. That was a very interesting presentation. One of my earliest influences when I was a graduate student was the 7-country study. So I was enjoying those slides. I'll be talking a little bit about the Okinawa diet and the main features of the diet. And I'm working mostly in Okinawa. I have been for the past 25 years, but I also work, I have a position at University of Hawaii in the Department of Geriatric Medicine. So I'm a gerontologist. I've been trained in gerontology, geriatric medicine, and I'm interested mostly, we are mostly interested, our team is the connections between healthy dietary patterns and healthy aging. So I'll be speaking a little bit about that today. Just some basic facts about Okinawa. Okinawa is the 47th prefecture of Japan. There are 47 prefectures in Japan, but it's quite unique culturally. It was an independent kingdom until 1879, and a real key player in the maritime trade with Southeast Asia and East Asia, including the spice trade. So you see these influences on the Okinawa food culture as well. It's a little more spicy than, say, Japanese cuisine, and a lot less salty. So Okinawa has been referred to as the Galapagos of the East because of the unique natural environment. It's actually a 161 island archipelago way down here. So we're closer to Taipei than we are to Tokyo. And there's a lot of unique flora and fauna here. Sometimes they call it the Hawaii of Japan. I think, Chris, you've been to Okinawa. I'm not sure how many other people have been to Okinawa, but it's subtropical in climate, beautiful diving coral reefs. And as you get back from the sea, you get into this rainforest. So it's very, there's a lot of unique, there's more species here per kilometer than anywhere else in Japan, unique species, flora and fauna. People are also unique. There's a different language here, there's a different culture. It's a unique island culture that very different from mainland Japan. The women run the religious system here as priestesses and shamanesses. That's very different from mainland Japan. And there are a number, similar to Italy, a number of cultural and natural UNESCO World Heritage Sites here. So you can see a little bit of the rainforest here in the ocean. This is one of there's a number of old castle sites here from the 14th and 15th century that are World Heritage Sites, as well as the rainforest in the north of the island. Most people live in the southern 2/3 of the island. It was one of the first blue zones to be identified. Blue zones being regional areas, regions where people live very long and healthy lives. So Sardinia being another region identified in Italy. The unique food culture. One thing, when you think about Asian cuisine, it shares a number of features with Asian cuisine. You can see here, this is a fermented tofu. So there's a lot of legumes consumed in Okinawa, but mostly in the terms of soybeans. So the soy is also a little bit different from the mainland. It's firmer and has a higher isoflavin load. It's more protein and fat. A lot of tofu found in foods. Very little meat. We would call the diet semi-vegetarian, but a lot of fish in the diet and a lot of seaweed. So we like to call them sea veggies. And the staple, interestingly, was this sweet potato. So it wasn't rice, as in mainland Japan. So those are some key differences between, say, the traditional food culture here and the mainland of Japan. This is our food pyramid. I liked your food pyramid, Dr. Moro. You had all those social interactions at the bottom, very important for healthy eating. And a lot of that also is appearing more recently in Japan as Japan gets back to its roots, especially Okinawa, the slow food movement, a movement called Shoku Iku, which is food education. So we have a lot of similarities between the Mediterranean and the Okinawan diets, including the very high vegetable consumption. And you can see sweets at the top there, optional weekly. I have to admit, I eat them more than once a week, though. So it's vegetable heavy, very vegetable heavy. That's a key. So, and then we see the fruits and some whole grains. Very little rice consumed here in the past, and when it was consumed as part of the traditional diet, there's a lot of other grains mixed in with it, like millet, for example, was grown here. And if you talk to the older people, they say, "Oh, you say, well, you should not be eating white rice. You should be eating sweet potatoes." Oh, they complain, "I ate too many of those when I was younger." So there's dietary changes that are taking place, but that's the traditional diet. So the key features are here. And this is where really our healthy aging research comes into play here. Sorry. It's a low caloric density diet, being plant-based, low in fat, moderate in protein from soy, fish, and lean meats, high nutrient density. This is a key to a healthy aging diet. And you see this too with the Mediterranean diet. It's high nutrient density, but low caloric density. So that's the ideal combination for healthy aging. And it's phytonutrient rich from a lot of vegetable-based proteins, antioxidants, polyphenols, flavonoids, carotenoids, mostly from these green leafy and yellow root vegetables. It's low in glycemic load. We were the first at the University of Toronto in the early 90s to design the glycemic index, which is a measure of carbohydrate effects on your blood sugar levels. And Dr. David Jenkins and our team developed this out of the University of Toronto in the early 90s. It's well known in the world now. And this is what you see also, you don't have these poor quality carbohydrates, but very high quality carbohydrates. So with a lot of fiber, mostly from the sweet potatoes. And anti-inflammatory. If you're talking about some anti-aging or healthy aging, you really need to keep cellular inflammation under control. And one of your compatriots, Claudio Franceschi, he's an immunologist, and he does a lot of work on the Mediterranean diet. He works with centenarians, and he coined the term inflammation, put together inflammation and aging to look at the importance of that connection in healthy aging. Okay, so this is one of the books I wrote. It's called The Okinawa Diet Plan. I urge you to try it. What we've tried to do with our work is to make it adaptable for people from Western societies. As Dr. Moro mentioned, it's a lot of the foods that you find in Japan or possibly in Okinawa will not appeal to a Western palate. So we've been trying to bridge that gap. And we have a number of books, again, for the general public. The Okinawa Way, which is basically the lifestyle. This as well, in America, it was published as the Okinawa Program because it's got a 4-week turnaround plan, a lifestyle program, not just dietary factors. And the version with the most beautiful cover was the Italian version. Must be that Italian sense of fashion. So this is the Italian version. It was published a number of years ago in Italy. So that's just a brief introduction to the traditional Okinawa diet and the Okinawan culture. And I thank you very much for your attention and thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much for the rundown and the additional info on Okinawan diet. So to get into the discussion a bit and to bring Mayor Pisani in. So wanted to just kind of ask about what you're seeing on a local level from your perspective as an innovative mayor who's able and willing and thinking out of the box, such as launching the Paideia campus and some of the initiatives that you have going. And you're right in the heart of the Mediterranean, as we heard and mentioned before. So in terms of supporting local community and local initiatives, what role does local government and do local policymakers have in promoting things like the Mediterranean diet or like local and traditional diets, practices, lifestyles? And I guess as a second part to that, what are you seeing currently? What projects or ideas that the local people in Pollica and surrounding area are kind of most excited about or most responsive to in terms of reinvigorating the Mediterranean diet, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. If it's possible, I try to share a presentation, but I use only 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Just a moment. No. I'm sorry. I can't find the presentation.
Okay. Craig, you might need. Okay.
It's okay.
Never mind. All good. Yep. It's about to start. Just one. Yes.
It's
Perfect.
okay.
There we go.
First of all, I want to say, without local level, we haven't Mediterranean diet. Probably also in Okinawa, if we don't have a good community, Okinawa can have a good diet, can have a way to live healthy and well. Also, in Mediterranean diet, but in Mediterranean diet, there are many communities, seven small communities around Mediterranean Sea. For example, we have Tavira in Portugal. In Spain, we have Syria and Morocco, Chef Shawem. This is only 3 of the 7 communities. But if you see the presentation, you can also see in the center of Mediterranean diet there is Pollica. It's a joke. It's only, but for us is important to see the large view of Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is important for the UNESCO, but for the local community is the right way to have a good development of the territories, because Mediterranean diet is good not only for the human, but good also for the planet. And we try to improve the knowledge, and we improve the knowledge of the people, and help the people to choose the Mediterranean diet way, because we need to rediscover the right way to use Mediterranean diet. And we work with many partners, but the most important partner is a Future Food and Mediter research, because we built with Mediter Research and Future Food Institute a campus, and we based the campus in Pollica. The campus is not a build, is all around the territory. And for example, we have in the we have in the campus a sustainable the Association for Organic Agriculture Institute, instituted the first eco district of Italy. For example, we also work with other institute for the research in field to test the quality of environment. We try to have also other collaboration for other institutions for research, the quality of the sea, the quality of the food. And if we take together all the part of the campus, we try to design a new model for the future. This is the role for us of the local community. But if we think also on the national level, we can discover that Mediterranean diet probably can be a national government program, because Mediterranean diet talk about agriculture, a way to produce food, sustainable way. Also healthy system, because if you follow the Mediterranean diet lifestyle, you have an healthy aging, and public government don't spend too much money for the health of the people. And also we can also try to have an innovation to produce food in a new way, and also, for example, we have a good practice to preserve the environment, the biodiversity, and also we can put Mediterranean diet culture in the school. And sorry, my English is very bad, but I try to explain that the Mediterranean diet have many aspects very important for the future, not only for the past. 2000 years ago, many philosophers talk about the lifestyle, the good way to live. And near Pollica, there is Velia, an ancient site of a Greek site. And the philosopher in Velia talk about the lifestyle. And from 2000 years ago to today, many things change, but the lifestyle improve not only the healthy aging, but also the environment. For example, the Cilento area preserve the big part of biodiversity in Italy. Probably 33% of biodiversity, Italian biodiversity, stay in the area of Cilento National Park. So the role of local community is, for me, is the most important to preserve Mediterranean diet. But I'm the mayor of Pollica, and it's impossible to be different. But I think the local community have an important role for the future. We don't preserve Mediterranean diet. We need to study how Mediterranean diet can be in the future, can stay in the future, how Mediterranean diet in the future is the good solution to have an healthy aging and a good result for planet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for showing the slides as well. Yeah, and I highly recommend, if anyone is in the Pollica area, to go visit the Padea campus. It's beautiful, and I'm excited for the next trip over there. So to transition just a little bit, to talk about, because obviously some of the greater impacts of studying and learning about the Okinawan and Mediterranean diet and the blue zones and health and longevity, is that we can extract the principles like sourcing locally and eating healthy and things like that. And it's interesting to consider how we do this in places outside of the Mediterranean or Okinawa, like for example in the heart of Tokyo in Ginza, where Chef Luca Fantine is working and running a great, highly acclaimed restaurant. So I just wanted to kind of turn it over to Chef Luca to see if he could, see if you could just kind of discuss a little bit sourcing and your suppliers and how you can bring some of these principles that we've kind of learned about from the earlier presenters and have a modern take on Italian cuisine in the heart of Tokyo, whether or not it's Italian cuisine, but whatever cuisine, how you bring those principles to life. Yeah.
But until now, I hear very interesting topic, and thank you for share a lot of interesting item from Okinawa to the Mediterranean cuisine. I'm living in Japan already 12 years, and I live in Tokyo, in the center of Ginza. Can be like the center of Milano, in the main street of Tokyo. And when I arrived to Japan, like Italian chef, Italian cuisine, I was very focused at the beginner I want to use only Italian ingredient because I didn't know anything about the country. I didn't know about anything about the territoire, and it was more easy. So in the restaurant, they send you like a list of the ingredient, like a catalog, pork from Italy, beef from Australia, this from where. And when I start to create my dish, I feel like something was missing on the plate. And make I think so, some reflection inside of me. I say, I'm in Japan and I'm focused to using only Italian ingredient here in Japan. I don't think this concept is very, very matching because I'm trying to create an experience to the customer, like it's a fine dining restaurant. And I try to force myself to find the best in Italy. And they need to travel all around the globe for 2-3 days, stopping the customer. And the item start to become old, and I say, no, that doesn't make any sense. So I say, okay, I want to go around to the market. I start to go to the Tsukiji, it was the biggest fish market in Tokyo. And there I make another reflection because in Japan, it's very difficult to have a connection with the supplier because I'm foreigner, I'm not Japanese. Because they have like a 50, 60 years old relation with the sushi place, with many restaurants, and when they see a foreigner, they say, maybe I don't know, I can trust this guy or not. So it was a little bit difficult to establish some connection with them, no. But I say, okay, this fish is not coming from this market; so it need to come from somewhere of Japan. So from this point, I say, okay, let's study about Japan from the north until the south of Japan. About seasonal, about ingredient where it's from, about all this kind of micro seasons in Japan. Like maybe you know, in Japan they say they have 72 seasons. Something in Italy we have 4 seasons. Almost the chef they don't follow the 4 seasons. When I was in Italy before, no, tomato all the year, eggplant all the year, zucchini all the year. So far, no. So in Japan, I say wow, this is something more interesting for the chef point, and something I can learn how much time I put on that, and little by little I start to discover the country. I start to go from, like I said before, from I have a map in the office too. Can talk about the region from Hokkaido to the Tochigi, from Oita, Fukuoka, and I find 1,000 items. Many Japanese they don't know the stuff that work for me. They don't know. Like I start to find example for talk about Italian cuisine. Saffron made from oita. Funghi porcini, which is the classic mushroom, Italian mushroom from the Fuji mountain. Start to find the ovuli mushroom. The surprise to me, if you want, I give you for free to you because nobody wants this kind of mushroom. I was like, wow. In Italy, it costs like $50, $60 a kilo, so you give me for free, no? And little by little, okay, discovery by discovery, I think so, cuisine changed too, because Of course, what I hear before talk about Mediterranean cuisine is absolutely important. But from my case, for me was like a focus in this micro season. Okay, the season tell me what I need to cook. So, and plus of that, talk about vegetable, fish, meat, everything. So we start to make a calendar of all the ingredients from the region, from the north, south, everything. And this ingredient is the ingredient that then they focus me which kind of dish I need to put inside of the menu. In Japan, we serve only degustation menu. We don't have a la carte menu. Thanks to this, I can follow, I can say this micro season and be like the ambassador before was talking about, be like a sustainability, be very friendly with the food waste and this kind of stuff. Automatically, I go in this direction of the seasonal. Another example can be, if I talk with the fishermen and say, I want scampi all year, they go massive fishing only scampi because the demand is a scampi. So they go and they take all different kinds of size from the big to small, and they start to destroy, I think so, our ocean, because something I don't want to do. So I talk with the supplier to, okay, what is the best season now? Is the best season of scallop, of red prawns, of itoyori, is kind of triglia in Italian cuisine. And this helped me to create all the time new dishes, all the time be sustainability in this point. And what I try to do here in Japan to be an example with the young generation, the chef more young than me, okay, they start to open the restaurant, they start to cook in the school or in the restaurant, to have a little example. Because when I was young, I'm still young because I'm 42, but when I was like a very, very young, like a 15 or 20 years old, the more important thing was like be, I don't know, precise, be clean the kitchen, be fast. Nobody was talking like today about be sustainability, about be healthy, about be follow the season, about be like a more like a friendly with the world now, because is a if we don't care about where we are, we don't give something better to our kids in the future. No? So this is a good point for like a chef in a very good restaurant in Tokyo to be a little an example to at least give it to the new generation behind of me, or the big one too. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so. This is, I think so, become like a, I think so, a natural philosophy of the restaurant, because already I say I'm here 12 years, and every season we discover a small region, we find something new. For make another example, an hotel, usually they have 5 suppliers, a big hotel. With these 5 suppliers, they buy everything basic. One is for meat, fish, vegetable. One is for the alcohol. One for the, so here in the small restaurant, because we have only 25 seats, we have around 60 suppliers. So we have a guy can make only onions. A guy is making only carrots under the snow the next 3 months. Another person is specialized in fishing bluefish. Another person is specialized in grow the cow outside without any chemical food can you give to the animal. This is for me, I feel very comfortable because I can find all the best, and then I'm happy to try my food too, because I'm spend here 12 hours a day in the middle of food, and I want to first have a beautiful ingredient, and second take care about our customer, they come here and they eat in the restaurant.
Yeah, but that's great to hear. So diversifying also the supply that you get to mimic the diversity of what is available in nature, rather than
in
just
the season. In the season,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. In the season, yeah, seasonality and taste have come up as some interesting threads through a lot of what you were saying, and a lot of what kind of everyone so far has been saying. We don't have too much time, but I just wanted to ask a quick question. If this is kind of open to anyone, just thinking on a consumer level, maybe maybe in the current, post-pandemic as well, or sorry, not post-pandemic, but since the pandemic has started, are there any certain changes in tastes or behaviors? You guys are located in 4 distinct areas, and I just kind of wanted to see if there's anything, maybe since the pandemic has started, or even outside the context of the pandemic, but in terms of making local and traditional foods exciting again, or Mediterranean diet and Okinawan diet, and some of the principles within those, if those, you see those kind of on the rise, or good ways to appeal to foodies or the larger community, kind of, if you guys can kind of comment on that at all. Yeah.
I do. Maybe I could start with a very short comment. As much as I know, in Italy, for example, it's really increasing the demand of local food. People really want local food because they have the idea, a correct idea, that it is most of the time healthier. It's in seasonality, of course, and they are really caring about the quality of food, because it's true that a good diet with a good balance works very well, but it doesn't work as well as it would if you have really a natural food, so organic or very well grown, and a lot of biodiversity. So because what was talking about Mr. Wilcox before is very important. High nutrient density is possible only if you have food in seasonality. We know that. So I think that this philosophy is really very important. And I would like to tell Chef Fantini, I'm really unhappy not to be in Tokyo at the moment, because I would come right away in your restaurant, because I think what you showed, and as an anthropologist, for me, this is really important, is that cooking is a language. So you can use the language to tell many stories, and you are inventing a new story with the language that comes from your origins, but in the meantime is an open language, because we can share food. Humanity has always been sharing, especially food, first of all, food. So I think your example is really a very interesting one, and maybe one day I will come. Thank you.
You're welcome to come anytime.
Great. Did anyone want to add anything on there, if we have, or any final kind of comments before closing out?
But so talking about Japan is a country where the season is the most important thing from everything. So, an example, talking about fast food, okay, like Kit Kat. Okay, everybody we knew what is Kit Kat. The first time I arrived in Japan, I say, but the Kit Kat is red in Italy. Why they have a different leaf on the package? I know, because the season is changing. It's like the season of autumn. I say, wow. I say, they changed the Kit Kat in Japan. The flavor was the same, but the packaging, say, from the aspect, everything is changing here, and everything is connected with the season. Like the mood too, almost in changes. Something I think so. In Italy, in the past, we forget about that. I think so. No, I don't know. Talk about, I'm from Veneto area. I don't really have this feeling of the 4 season, and the food was changing the restaurant or stuff. Maybe at home with my grandmother, yes, because she was in the farm, so you see different kind of vegetable all year. But at the restaurant point, this point of seasonality, was disappear. I'm glad that now Elisabetta said now maybe the people is more like a conservative to talk about the season. Have a high class of ingredient. But I hope this continues in Italy, because talk about not only the vegetable, fish too. I think so. The fish in Italy, or you live in the ocean side, or I don't know. I didn't see very nice fish. I see a lot of fish from Greek, from Africa, from other part of the world. I don't know what the fish have inside. This is a big problem too, I think so. If you live maybe in front of ocean, of course, you have the boat, and maybe you can select. But This is an important point, Kev. So people need to be very concerned about what they eat, what they buy in the supermarket or in the market to be healthy.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Craig, did you want to say anything more or sorry?
I just wanted to add that I think I'm very impressed with what I've heard today, and I think there's the pendulum is starting to swing back towards these the interconnections between culture and food, and the importance of say slow food versus fast food, being in touch with seasonality, being in touch with your surroundings, where you live. And a lot of what we found with these healthy older people in Okinawa is that all of them have their own gardens, so they're very much in touch with growing their own food, and they eat it when it's ripe. And the climate here is blessed in the way that we can have year-round gardens, so subtropical. So invariably, when I meet an older person and I'm asking them about their lifestyle, they take me out back and they show me their garden and start talking about the plants. So I think that's where that we're getting back to with Future Food Institute and the healthy Mediterranean diet, these healthy dietary patterns that we're kind of rediscovering our roots, I think, in a lot of ways. So I just wanted to say that, and very happy to participate in the meeting today. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Yeah, we've been kind of noticing the trend too in the past 2 years, specifically with the pandemic, where everything was kind of go towards rapid urbanization, and it still is in many places, but there's also a really big interest in some areas that we've kind of looked into, of people moving away from cities and getting more into rural areas, and also even people living in cities trying to incorporate more, whether it's like urban gardening or growing some of their own food, but getting closer to the source of where things are coming from. So yeah. Okay, so if anyone wants to say any final words, and if not, if anyone wants to say anything final, but if not, I can go ahead and close out.
With just one thing.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
It's possible that we talk about Mediterranean diet, Italian cuisine, and Okinawa diet, but probably for the future, the challenge is compare the different way to the different model, and work together to explain all around the world which is the right way to do the thing. After pandemic, many people change the view on all the thing. It's not important only the food. Many people choose another way to live, but also another place to live. Many people choose the marginal area, the rural area to live, because it's more comfortable for the people. For example, my friend Elisabetta choose Pollica to live the two year of pandemic, but work in Pollica, and she chose Pollica for an important reason, because as Ansel Keys, also Elisabetta want to live too much more, 20 years more than normal, the medium life of the Italian people. It's a joke, but it's very important. So I want to use this meeting of today to ask to the embassy, to ask to the Professor Wilcox and Elisabetta and other to build a project with the Paideia campus to compare the different way to do the thing, the different model, because in the next month, next 2 months, probably the UN decide, the FAO decide which is the right diet for the planet, not only for the people. And for us, for the mayor of Pollica, the small Pollica, but for me the big Pollica, and not also for me. At the challenge is which is the diet for the future, which is the model for the future. So everybody work together to have the right model for the future. So I want to say thank you to the embassy, the Future Food Institute, and other people. Thank you to Luca, the chef Luca, and thank you because you are our ambassador of Italian cuisine, of Italian culture in Japan. Thank you.
Try my best.
Yes. Yes,
Try my
thank you
best to
guys all.
survive.
Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, thank you guys all so much for joining. And I hope that we're all able to meet in person at some point and carry the conversation on and do something hopefully in Kyobashi in Tokyo or at Luca's restaurant just south of us in Kyobashi and Ginza. So, or perhaps in Pollica at some point. But yeah, but thank you guys so much for joining, and thanks again to the Embassy of Italy and Ambassador Benedetti. And also thanks to I Love Italian Food for helping us to coordinate this event as well, and some of the other events we're doing for Italian Cuisine Week here. So thank you guys for joining. Sorry we went a little bit over. Sorry to cut into everyone's time a bit, but thanks again. We want to continue the conversation and continue the initiatives with all of you. So thanks very much.
Arrivederci, grazie.